Yoga basics, chair pose. Chair pose in Sanskrit is called Utkatasana. Utkata actually means fierce in Sanskrit, so sometimes we translate this pose as fierce pose. We call it chair pose because the cue we use is like you're sitting in a chair. So let's break it down. Just like the basis of all of our standing postures, this one starts from Tadasana. So ground your feet into the earth. Now your big toes can be touching or slightly separated. It's up to you. If you have wider hips, you'll feel more comfortable separating your feet as much as hip distance. If you have narrower hips, you can have big toes touching. The important part here is just to have the insides of your feet parallel. So once you find your comfortable stance, ground all four corners of your feet into the earth. Imagine like your foot is a four-wheel drive car. Each of those wheels is equally being used, pressed into the ground. Then we draw the energy up from the ground, up our legs, zip our belly in, descend the tailbone behind us, and broaden the chest. So this is the basis of our Utkatasana, our chair pose. In traditional Ashtanga yoga, we would inhale to bend the knees and lift the arms up. For some of us, we need an extra cue. I'll turn sideways to show you. Another way to think about this pose is to take a big breath in, and then as you exhale, bend the knees and tickle the ground with your fingertips. That's how you know how low to go. Zip your belly in, and then as you inhale, reach your arms up alongside your ears. Now, if your shoulders are very flexible and open, you can touch your palms together. The full expression of the pose looks like this. We touch the palms together, we do an upper back bend, and look to the hands. It's called Hasta Drishti. For most of us, this is not accessible. So if that's the case, you can open your hands wider. If you want more room in the shoulders, open your hands even wider and rotate your palms back, and then draw the shoulders down away from the ears. The other important thing to note in Utkatasana is that when we bend our knees, we want to shift the weight slightly back into our heels. Not to have most of the weight in our heels, but just so that we're not leaning forward and have all the weight in our balls of our feet or our tippy toes. So we bend our knees, sit low, bring the weight slightly back into the heels so we can keep that four-wheel drive working, and arms alongside the ears. Now, a common misalignment we'll see here is the twerk. Remember, we're not at the club, this is yoga. So descend your tailbone and zip the lower belly in and up to keep your lower back nice and safe. Sometimes we'll see the opposite, which is this, the rounding. If that's the case, just think about moving your tailbone towards the earth. We can use that cue, tailbone towards the earth, for both the anterior tilt, the arch of the back, and the posterior tilt, the rounding. So, one more time. Grounding all four corners of the feet into the earth. Take a big breath in. Exhale, bend your knees, sit low, zip the belly in, tailbone to the ground, and then inhale, bring the arms alongside the ears. Palms can touch, we can look up. If that's too hard on the neck and shoulders, look straight ahead or even down, open the arms. Let's hold this for a couple of breaths. You'll start to warm up, you'll start to heat up, that means you're doing it right. Inhale, stand up tall. That, my friends, is Utkatasana, chair pose or fierce pose.